whenever I'm alone with you.
Pisces, hi, thank you very much for being here. Polina here, talking to you about you in the month of August. I'm in Prague, I'm under an apple tree, I'm in an apple orchard actually, it's beautiful. There's people everywhere, there's like cars in the background, sometimes there's these types of bell things that go off. I'm on the grass, I got an apple, there's people over there watching me do weird stuff on YouTube. Thank you very much for being here. Hello. Awful, isn't it? I mean, what I'm doing right now, isn't it awful? You know, like, what I mean is, like, you might pick up on it more than other people, what I'm doing. The thing that I do, that I think you might already know before I knew it, is that I'm toning it down. I'm toning it down for people, and I'm creating a certain type of a connection with you, which you don't need. You already know who I am and what I do, Pisces. That's really funny. But I have to kind of slow things down, have to show people, you know, experiences that are human. I have to show people a human way that I love to love and love to be. But for you, I feel it'll become really obvious in this month who you're not. And you're not someone like me. You don't have to pretend to be human to get noticed or to get understood. That's the beautiful thing about you, is that you don't have to do things the way that we do at all. And I still do, because that's where I am. I still have to speak English and look like a lady in order to connect to my audience. But you don't need to do any of that, Pisces, and that's why I respect you a lot. I'm actually starting to respect you a lot more than I understood to before, because it feels to me that what you have in the month of August is supreme innocence, which just beams through you. And it might come across to people as really unsteady or really strange. Like, you might look at somebody and they ask, why are you not polite to me? And you say, why should I be? You don't know who you are, you know? Or, you know, you might be, I'm actually going to relocate the computer. So you might be like sitting with a couple of friends and they're asking you to join into conversation and to say yes to everything that they're saying. And you might just say, why should I? You know, why should I do that? Why should I be like you? Like, what is it about me that wants to be like you? And that will come through, I feel, very, very deep for a lot of you guys. And hopefully for some of us as well. Hopefully that'll rub off on us other people as well, because I'm 12th house sun in Prague actually, so I'm probably going to do this as well. But we have to learn how to be less pretentious with our souls and more obvious about how things are. You know, for example, you're sitting there and it is polite to say hello to the person who walks in. But sometimes you just know that it's just not the time, it doesn't feel right, so you just don't. Weird behavior, Pisces, weird, strange things. And also being the stranger who doesn't actually really mind. Who doesn't really mind what they come across as, or what they're really portraying with their presence, or how they're translating to other people. Doing things that are really, really good for you, that to other people might seem strange. That's another thing that could occur in August as well. It feels to me that if you got a call, and this might be a crazy, freaky thing for somebody else, like, I'm going to starve for like 2 weeks. And somebody goes, why would you do that? And you're like, I don't know, it just feels good, and turns out it cleans out your system, you know, or like ups your metabolism or something like that. You might feel like even crazy things like, I don't know, eating only apples for like 2 or 3 days, doing a detox, or exercising a lot, or like showering in cold water. You might actually find that there are really, really unique and different ways of being yourself, and not wanting to be like anybody else, Pisces, because you don't need to be like any of us. You don't need to be like anybody else. And that's a really perfect thing about you this month. You might even feel very defiant as to how people are, and might even make fun of people for what they do. And you might already be freaking making fun of me for such a long time, and especially might get really strong in August. Like, why are you doing this? What are you doing this for? And that's a really, really awesome thing about you, is because I feel that you're also becoming really cutting edge for us. And I feel you can really, really tell when people are not quite in their own sphere. You might be really awesome at telling when people are lying, or where people are walking the path that's not really right for either them or other people. You might already tell, like, when, if you see a person who's trying to be an extroverted version of themselves when they're actually not at all that. You might see when a person is eating too much for their body. You can see when a person is sleeping not enough, like me. We can probably see where, people are lots of strange things because they haven't really thought about who they were for a while and haven't been honest about themselves or their livelihoods or what really like makes sense to them. Another thing you might actually see is you becoming an expert on life and reality and just flow. You might be an expert like how you walk out of situations, how you walk into situations, how you end up with people very shortly. You can already kind of tell what you're going to be in a group before you walk into a group. You can possibly already see how you're going to spend money before you make the money. You can already see that your needs and wants is what calls the money in. You can already kind of understand how to spend a lot less time, sitting around and doing shit that you don't want to do, and how to spend more time dreaming and doing crazy stuff that you really like. It is something that is like almost like an enlightening time for you in August, as I feel that you're becoming more like yourself. It feels to me that you are really, really ridiculed by people though, and it feels to me that it is hurtful to you because you're like, I'm stunning, like I'm finally doing what I want to do. And people are conditioned, I guess, to question you because they don't want to see what you are. And I feel that you are in many friendly ways, the past and the future simultaneously. I feel you are beyond space and time, as Pisces always is. But the freaky thing about it is the people that oppose you, the people that don't like what you do, and people that don't understand where you are with yourself and what the hell is going on with you, quite often become exactly like you later. Very often people don't trust you or don't trust what you are prophesizing, or they don't understand, but they actually commit to it later, which is actually a scary time for us all, because sometimes during this time you can say something out of spite, or you can say something out of love about another person and it can come true. So for example, you get really angry with someone, as I have been recently, and you can say, you'll never get this. Or like, that job, you're not going to get employment. Or you can look at someone and go, you're going to go very far. Or you can say, I'm not going to tell you anything, but I know what's going to happen next. And that does happen sometimes, because occasionally you can bend minds a lot in certain times of the year. And it feels to me that here is a very, very prime example of how you can do that with us. But I would probably say it's really up to you, because you're the dreamer. It's like you are dreaming a lot of people's lives. You are connecting to a lot more than we can. And you're doing a lot more than we understand inside as well, usually. So it's not really up to me to tell you not to do that. But it is up to me to say that maybe the time that you are here will be a lot kinder to you and a lot more generous and gentle with you if you don't force your energy around. It is a very nice time not to force anything around, actually. It's a very good time to sit back and lie down and just be yourself and not worry. And it is a very interesting time to see how you can play with us instead of how you can form us or structure us. So what I mean is, for example, just think in your head, oh, that person's going to call me in a minute and then we're going to go out and they're going to suggest probably dinner. I think that's what I want. And you might actually see that person does call you and they do suggest dinner, or they suggest breakfast, which is close to dinner. So you might actually see that there is a lot of different ways in which you can predict, or you can synchronize things for other people also, in terms of you only in terms of you, in terms of who comes over, what happens, how you get treated, what you get on your plate. It's an interesting time for some people who are Pisces to conceive, but only if they really like the person who they're with, which doesn't happen all the time. So have a look at how you can predict things, and also how you can make humans if you need to make a human for whatever reason, because you're wiser than me, you know more than me in terms of why and how you do things. It also might be really kind and generous not to give a crap about what other people thought of you in the past or the future, what other people perceive you as, and what other people label you as, because sometimes those perceptions, because you are all things, you are everything, you don't really have an identity like we have an identity. But occasionally when somebody puts you into a little box, or gives you a little number or name or some kind of a vibration that you have to uphold later, you might have to commit to that energy for a lot longer than you think. So it would be really, really nice if you have the time, if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to discard all kinds of conversation that you have with people that are based on label terms, and also have a look at how you can commit yourself to the point where nothing that anybody has ever said about you is real. We can feel very, very, how can I say, powerful enough to discredit any type of connection you have to anything that labels you as something or that puts you in a certain type of bracket, because Pisces is the tides of time. It's like between realities. You're not actually meant to be labeled. You're not really meant to be put into any kind of constraint. So have a look at how you can do that. And all in all, the future looks fine. As soon as you sort of understand, I feel that you are not wanted by anybody. Nobody's trying to get you to do anything. Nothing is trying to get you, Pisces, because you are ungettable. You are ungettable. You are not energetically or emotionally really formed to be controlled or be wanted or be strained into a marriage or strained into a really deep emotional partnership with anybody. It's like you're no longer in that meaning. You don't see meaning in that anymore internally. As soon as you understand that nothing wants you, nothing controls you, nothing actually tries to make you work for it, the sooner you will regret the decisions that you've made in the past. So maybe have a look at how free you've been all along, how freedom has been your middle name your whole life probably, and how free you actually are. If you really look at things, if you really look at how you've been living, maybe have a look at why you've been censoring yourself, why you've been putting yourself on a back burner for some other people that never kind of like came back or never really measured up too much. So have a look at how you can see yourself as free this month of August. And don't do anything else. Do nothing else. If you can, just release and enjoy. Thank you so much, the greatest dreamer of dreamers, Pisces, and I hope to see you next time. Have a look at my links below, subscribe, la la la, and I'll see you later. Bye.